Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter. Hey, good evening and welcome to TV Skywriter. I'm Pat Murray, your host. I publish the Durham Skywriter, that's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. But right now I'm doing TV Skywriter, where I introduce you to cool people you should know. And today's guest is close to Durham, not quite, but in Raleigh. Taffy Cunningham is our guest, and she's going to tell us about her venture, which is called Secure Cultures. Welcome to the show, Taffy.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Patricia, how you doing? Hey, everybody out there, what's going on?
Really well. Now, I first met you at the Black Market, and I have to give a huge shout out to Black August in the Park. This was the second annual Black Market, where basically it was a bunch of Black vendors coming together under one roof, and it was absolutely wonderful. You appeared on a little video that I made, and you really let us know what's happening with Secure Cultures. So if you could let our audience know what's happening with Secure Cultures. But first, tell us who you are and what you're all about.
Oh, well, my name is Taffy Cunningham, and what am I all about? Well, one, I'm about my business. Let that be known.
All right now.
But no, actually, what I'm about is just creativity, positivity, overcoming, beating the odds, doing what people say you can't, defining your own limitations, breaking down barriers, things of that nature. So that's really what I'm all about, and I try to, live a life that's an example of that for others.
It's called Secure Cultures, and that's an interesting name. What does that mean?
Well, it's two parts to what it means. It's two parts that comes together as one. The secure part, at the end of the day, that's what we're all looking for, right? Even as simple as locking your door or not. You want to be secure financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically. So on the surface, I think it's a need. It's one of the basic human needs that we need. But to just dig a little deeper, when it starts to get to issues beyond the surface, as far as character, being secure in oneself is pretty much, it's a large part of a foundation that's necessary in order to life and all the different trials and tribulations and curveballs that life sometimes can throw your way. Basically, secure is having a strong sense of self. Whatever that self winds up being, it's just a process of accepting that, owning that, and then living a life that represents that. And so the cultures comes along because this is a universal thing, right? I mean, there are so many different subgroups that a person's life or different characteristics of a person can be carved into. So, you could be a Black female and there's like 2, 3, 4 different subcultures that comes along with that, where there's norms and expectations and preconceived notions. But if you kind of tap into the first element of being secure, it like erases all of that, right? Because being secure transcends all the boundaries that the subgroups can sometimes chop you into. So there we get secure cultures. So in other words, it's not just limited to one type of person or issue or thing. It's inclusive because in our own ways, we all kind of have to be secure to kind of knock down those barriers.
Wonderful. I'd like to know how you got started. And actually, why don't you show off your shirt? Because you're wearing your own product.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's an everyday occurrence, Patricia. Yeah, but I got on the, pretty much this is the heather gray and navy Secure Cultures raglan. We got the secure across the front. You got the logo here on the right shoulder. And then here we have the number 22, which is a very dear number to me. It's actually my life number. There's so many different ways that the number 22 just happens to keep popping up in my life. And so then on the shoulders here, we got the 3 bars. In a lot of my designs, you'll notice 3 stars, 3 bars, just 3. And that basically represents one, in the physical realm, that does represent, my family, put it like that. It was always my mom and her 2 kids. And then, you know, I have a younger sibling, a younger brother who passed away, but he fortunately left a beautiful baby girl behind that has kind of been able to fill in that spot. And then, of course, when you start thinking about religion and things of that, Christianity in particular, you know, you do have that notion of three, which I'm happy to say and proud to say that in everything I do, I have to leave some type of lunar element for, you know, God, my creator. So it definitely has to be a part of it. Yeah.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Like I said, a lot of young people want to do exactly what you're doing, and that is run an apparel company. So I don't want you to give away too many trade secrets.
Okay.
But I'm guessing that it all starts with a design. But I wonder if you could tell us what's involved with running an apparel empire.
Well, it definitely starts with the design, right? I mean, it starts with the design. So before I got this up and running, I had to learn how to design. Now, that doesn't have to be everyone's story. There are things, you know, if you know how to sketch or if you have an idea. Fortunately, there are graphic designers out there that can kind of translate into an actual graphic that then can move forward and be, you know, printed or distributed, you know, on the market. That's what I chose to do because I wanted to be hands-on and have complete artistic control over my line. So that was a personal decision, but it's certainly not mandatory. But what you have to have is business smarts. You have to take your time to learn business. You have to make sure all your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed. You know, you have to think things through. You have to know from beginning to end, not a plan, but a strategy, because plans alter all the time. Plan, you have to have a backup plan. So just to sum that all up, you have to be strategic in how you go about, you know, doing your business. So that was to be definitely something that I tell kids. And then also just keep going, believe in yourself, keep going. And eventually with, like I say, business smarts, creativity, and a team. You got to have a team. You can't do anything by yourself. But you'll start off by yourself now, maybe. But as people see that you're serious about your business and you're serious about, you know, your craft, there are people that's gonna want to link up with you and kind of attach to you to help you get just that much further. So I say that, and again, I have to stress, you always got to send your prayers up, whatever that may be, you know, whatever that is to you, whatever that means to you. You have to know that there are things outside of yourself are the ones that's opening doors and putting it on people's hearts to even deal with you, you know, or to, you know, to want to be associated with you. So that's what I would say. Just, you know.
Now I want to jump in here because it's probably because I just watched a couple of videos talking about copyright. And the one thing, since young people are going to be watching this, especially people wanting to start an apparel company, I was watching a video where they were saying you have to be really careful about owning the work that you are copying and distributing. And that means owning the art. I remember when I started my newspaper in Chicago, it was called the Southside Scoop. And I started out, when it was the Woodlawn Scoop, I used a clip art ice cream cone, no big deal. However, when I realized that I wanted to make t-shirts and sell them, then I realized, I'm not supposed to use clip art. I have to own the ice cream cone. So I hired a friend of mine who was a graphic artist who drew me an ice cream cone. I paid him. It was a work for hire. And so I own the ice cream cone that I was using. The same gentleman actually drew the airplane. That's the logo for the Durham Skywriter. So I totally own that. I know some people have gotten into trouble where they borrow items like Disney characters and Mighty Mouse and that kind of stuff. And it's not really, you really shouldn't do that. You really should own, I don't mean to take over the show, but I just want young people to know this. I hate to see kids get in trouble or young people get in trouble. Another thing, if you hire an artist to draw your concept and to use that as the design for your shirts or whatever, make sure that it's a work for hire and that he or she knows that he is or she is an employee at a particular time and that you own that drawing, not them. Otherwise, they are the owner, because artists, when I take pictures for people, those are my pictures. You hire me to take pictures for you, but they're my pictures and I'm letting you use them. So you have to let people know with the contract that you are going to be the owner, not them. I just had to throw that in.
Yeah, no, well, what you said was very important. Very important, especially if you're serious about, taking your business to certain heights. If you're not making any money, you're on the, small numbers, it's really nothing to worry about, right? No one's gonna waste their time suing you. But if you plan on being something where there's real numbers and a real force behind you, yes, you need contracts. You need to create your own work. I don't recommend clip art at all. That is probably the ground zero for a civil suit of getting sued, right? Clip art.
I did start out with clip art, but again, I didn't
But
know any better.
no, it's fine. You got to learn trial and error. And so look at you today. Look, you got it figured out. But I would definitely say you can use other people's work as inspiration. You can maybe even borrow a couple of things. I mean, we are talking about art here, right? Art kind of expands and grows on itself. But your touch has to be enough to where if a judge or someone was looking at the original artist's work and your work, that there's a distinction, and that there's a clear transformation that shows that this is not this work in and of itself. Right. I hope I did a good job explaining that. But so just to be on the safe side, create your own art. Just to be on the safe side. I mean, hey.
Definitely. Now, I would imagine coming up with the idea and the design is hard enough, but there must be a huge leap going from design to actual, do you call it manufacturing when you're putting it on a shirt?
I call it printing.
Printing, okay. But that's huge, right? Because you have to choose the type of shirt.
True.
Right? And make sure, I mean, there's different types of copying. I know there's, what do you call it, screen printing? And
you have screen printing. You have heat press printing, digital printing. Those are the top three, really.
So which is the shirt that you're wearing? What's that? What you're wearing now?
This right here, this is heat press. This is heat press. That's the manner of printing in which I use. I use heat press. I don't screen print. Screen print would actually be, to be honest, screen print would be like number one as far as the most preferred printing process. But heat pressing is like a very, very close number two. All right. So again, it was important to me to be hands-on in my company, in my art. And screen printing is I'm all self-taught. Okay. So screen printing is a very meticulous, skillful form of printing in which I am still playing around with because, of course, I'm always looking to expand. But for right now, what was more, what was quicker for me and most importantly, what brought about the desired results was heat press printing. So, I scraped up some pennies and some dimes and did my research and find out which top A grade heat press machine I needed. What were all the equipment and machinery that I needed in order to bring about, the designs that I created in my design programs. And it's history.
Oh, so you do it yourself?
Thing that you see on a Secure Cultures item is done by my hands at this time because I'm pretty much a one-man operation. Put it like that right now. As far as the actually printing of the garment, right? Bringing it to life. Mm-hmm. Yes, I design and print all of my clothing by hand.
Okay. So I know you don't have your whole inventory there. It's probably in your warehouse, but yes. So you have what? Do you have jackets? What else do you have?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I'm excited to announce that like any minute now, I say within the next week and a half, maybe, the snapbacks will be dropping. That's my first like literally cut and sew piece from cloth to conception. So it's
Wow.
definitely 100% secure cultures. The hoodies are coming, the joggers are coming. We got the long sleeve tees for men, unisex long sleeve tees. I already have the women long sleeve tees, but we have to get the women some, nice hoodies and joggers and things of that nature. So pretty much I winter wear, right? And it's already cold in a lot of parts of the country.
Mm.
This is my first year out. I'm still trying to get the hang and my handle on a lot of things, but we're kind of right on time. I'm working to jump out in front of the
Hmm.
seasons though, so that the transition will be much more smoother. But that's
So it
coming your
sounds
way.
like you have online sales as opposed to having a store.
I do. I'm an online retailer right now, but I'm hoping that that's not the case too much longer. But as of right now, yes, ma'am. I am an online retailer.
I'm thinking, um, what if some other people come along and they have designed some shirts? You have a machine. You could actually print other people's shirts, right?
Well, I'm
Or
glad
does
you
it
said
sound
that too.
crazy?
Sound crazy. When the show started, there was one thing that you asked me what I was about, correct?
Hmm.
And I believe I
Yes.
said about my business, right? Business doesn't necessarily mean secure cultures. Business means survival, right? So yes,
Okay.
I do have side jobs that I do because I do have the graphic design skill and I do have print ability and I do event shirts. I do pretty much a little bit of everything. I have all different types of organizations or people that come to me that want this set of shirts or this done for whatever the reason and occasion. And
Wonderful. And so you can also, I'm guessing, make family reunion shirts as well.
absolutely, family
That's big
reunion.
business.
I can make the electric slide shirts if you want to. If you want to get a group of people together, that's all you guys want to do is do the electric slide. I can make the shirts.
Wow, that's awesome. So, what are you looking forward in the future? Where do you plan to expand beyond what you're doing now, or what?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I just think it's natural to go from fashion to music, right? I mean, I just think that transition is it just makes sense, right? I mean, even now, I have quite a few artists that actually reach out to me in efforts of signing to my clothing line, to be kind of like a one hand washes the other. They promote the line as the line promotes them as an artist, right? So to make both
That's
relevant,
clever. That's
both
clever.
have to be relevant. Yeah, so that's definitely something that I'm already, really, to be honest with you, I'm already transitioning into, and I just think it's a excellent promotional and marketing tool. It just makes sense. So yeah, I guess pretty soon I'll be having a record label or at least some type of
Well, we have
management or
plenty of
promotion
local.
company.
We have lots of local record labels here. Maybe you can connect with one of those, or two or three,
Yeah, yeah, sounds good.
and plenty of
Sounds good.
festivals.
Yeah, but for right now, I'm pretty comfortable with signing artists to the clothing label, so that
Mhm.
we can kind of work out what that looks like, and we'll see how it goes. See how it goes.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'll do it anyway. So when your hoodies come out and this new line that you're talking about, are you going to have a big launch, like an event somewhere?
Well, actually, the collection that I'm working on the collection that is actually going on right now is what I termed as the Hello World collection because it's my coming out to the world, right? It's my stepping out into the world. So the winter wear is still a part of that same collection. So how I just want to do it is a collection will be pretty much a year long collection, and so I don't plan on changing collections until next August. Then I come out with something else, but in line with what you're asking. Once Secure Coaches gets a little bit more, momentum, a little bit more established in the community, with doing, different events and things of that nature to just bring out different, artists and just artistic expressions, that's around the Raleigh-Durham area. We definitely plan on having that ultimate launch party, and that way we can do it big, we can do it right. If you're not
That's
gonna do it
great.
right, there's no
That's
need to
great.
do it.
So do you do what I do? Every day you wear one of your own shirts? Because I wear Durham Skywriter shirts. If I know I'm going to be out in public, I'm always wearing my Durham Skywriter shirt.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I have to at least want to wear my clothes before I can ask anybody else to. But no, I wear Secure Cultures. I wear pieces that aren't even available to the public. So, uh, yes, I definitely have secure everything on pretty much. If I'm going to be seen, I need to be insecure.
Exactly. I love your business model. I really think you're going to really blow up in huge ways. I mean, I can imagine seeing your name, or at least Secure Culture's name, all over the place really soon.
Yes, ma'am. Well, that's the plan. That's the plan. And I thank you for that.
Sure. So if people are saying, "Hey, where can I get some gear?" Do they go to your website, or tell us how to connect with you?
That's what you want to do. You want to go to www.securecultures.com. You want to just take a look at, our inventory. I always ask that people go to our latest gossip page and read the blog posts. A lot of times the blog posts can kind of give you, an idea, kind of where we are with things, and what type of opportunities and things like that are opening up for us. And hopefully, people will want to be a part of that and jump on this thing while we're taking off the ground. Because once we get up there, we're gonna be hard to reach.
Well, I hope you're never hard to reach. You don't want your base to lose to think you're beyond them too far.
Oh no, well, when I said hard to reach, what I mean is that, the bandwagon. You got the
Oh, okay.
latecomers. Yeah, you got the latecomers that come on, they jump on the bandwagon, after all the hard work has been done, and say, "Oh yeah, yeah." But for those people that that rock with you from the beginning, those are the ones you
Mhm.
those are the ones you take with you. Those are the ones you carry with you and take with you. Never ever would I forget where I came from. We don't have to worry about that one.
I have a suggestion. I always try to tell people, local people who are making items, to work on product placement. That's kind of a
Yes.
big deal.
Mm.
And as you know, I'm just throwing this out, just totally unrehearsed or whatever, but there was a producer of a web series at the black market. Remember? She's actually in my video. Who knows? Maybe one of her characters can wear one of your shirts. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know these people personally. I'm just saying. Always look for opportunity, especially local. That might be kind of cool,
There's a
since
lot
people
of
are going to watch
network.
the web series anyway.
And there's a lot of networking going on behind the scenes, and it sounds like you're right on point with a business mindset. Maybe you got to think about starting your own line.
We're going to be having a conversation
Okay.
because I've had several ideas on apparel, but just didn't have the real skill to pull it off. So we'll have a conversation later.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because a lot of people want to buy Durham Skywriter shirts, and the company that used to make them actually went out of business. I haven't made
Oh.
Durham Skywriter shirts in more than 10 years.
Oh. We'll see. This is
Just
this is what
saying.
I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
we're going to have a conversation.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, so thank you again for being on the show. I mean, this is really cool, Taffy, because I think secure cultures. I mean, that's a catchy phrase. I think we're going to see it everywhere, and I really hope to see wherever there's a camera, somebody wearing a secure culture shirt out there to bring attention to what you're doing. Because I also like how you encourage young people to stay on their own path and not follow people just because they're out there doing whatever. Because Because the way you explained it to me earlier, it's like you find your own place where you're comfortable, where you define yourself, and don't just go off just willy-nilly, just following after people. Stand up for yourself. You are your own brand.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I kind of had to learn a hard lesson following the crowd and being involved in crowd nonsense, and it resulted in a lot of loss, a lot of pain, which is pretty much the pocket that Secure Cultures comes out of. So I definitely advocate for people being of their own mind and their own thinking, and to definitely follow their own path, and don't follow someone else's, because oftentimes you get led into a ditch, and it's hard to dig out that ditch. Some ditches are deeper than others, but I also am here to let you know that you can get out. It's going to take effort and strength and perseverance, but you can get out. Because anybody that knows me knows that my fall was pretty hard, was pretty far down, through the loss of my younger brother, and also spending a decade in prison. So as a result of it, and people will write you off. They'll write you off, and you can't go on what other people will do. You have to know who you are and what you're capable of, to be able to still accomplish those goals. And despite what people may think or feel about you because of circumstances, you have the last say so. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you so much, Taffy Cunningham. It was wonderful having you on the show. Okay, folks, so check out the website. It's securecultures.com. Check out her gear. And I guess we'll have to wait a week or so for all the hoodies and things you're talking about,
and
right?
Snapbacks, yep. But before I go, Patricia, I gotta give a shout out to my Raleigh, North Carolina fam. I gotta give a shout out to Raleigh, Athens Drive High School. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give a shout out to North Carolina Central University. I gotta give a shout out to all my peoples in Illinois, Chi-Town, Rockford, Joliet. You know who you are. You know what I'm saying? If I know you and I see your face and I know your name, I'm shouting you out, all right? Which is pretty much everybody.
Thank you so much again, Taffy.
All right.
Okay, folks, you know what to do. But I want you to have a wonderful week. Next week's guest, I can't tell you exactly. Now, last week, I had a Brazilian singer on. The connection was bad. We're going to try again. Perhaps not next week, but really, really soon. And with that, be sure to read Durham, North Carolina's online community paper, the Durham Skywriter, at durhamskywriter.com. And I'll see you again real soon. Ciao for now.